Ashish Avikuntak sat spinning cotton on his spinning wheel. His film, Kalkimanthankatha, that was being exhibited in a private gallery in Kolkata, had just been stopped, following an article that was published in the Times of India. An article that had used the age-old Cinematograph Act of India 1952 to question if a film like Ashish's would be allowed to run in a private gallery since it did not have the necessary Censor Board certification.
অদ্ভুত গল্প হলো, সেটা হলো কালকে ইনিশিয়ালি আমি ইনিশিয়েট করেছিলাম স্ক্রিনিংটা, তার কারণ আমরা এখন প্রথমবার বম্বেতে ছবিটা দেখি 2015। তখন ছবিটা দেখে মনে হচ্ছিল এই ছবিটা কলকাতা শহরে দেখানো উচিত, কিন্তু নানা কারণে হয়ে ওঠেনি, গ্যালারি ছিল না মতন। ফাইনালি মেমরি গট গ্যালারি, একটা শিডিউল তৈরি হলো। আর আমরা যারা এরকম ধরনের ছবির সঙ্গে ইনভলভ থাকি তাদের একটা অদ্ভুত মজা হচ্ছে, আমাদের তো কোনো ওই 100 দিন চলবে 200 দিন চলবে জানি না, আমাদের একটা নির্দিষ্ট সময় তৈরি করে দিতে হবে, 10 তারিখ থেকে 25 তারিখ। সো ওই 15টা দিন আমাদের কাছে খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট, যে এই 15টা দিনে কিছু মানুষ আমাদের কাজ দেখবে। সো হলো যা 7 দিনের মাথায় একটা আর্টিকেল বেরোলো, আর্টিকেলে লেখা হলো যে উই ডোন্ট হ্যাভ আ সেন্সর সার্টিফিকেট, দ্যাটস ওয়াই এই ছবিটা কী করে দেখানো হচ্ছে। অন দ্য কন্ট্রাস্ট, যে লিখেছেন আর্টিকেলটা তিনি আবার ক্লেম করেন যে শি ওয়ান্টেড টু ডু ডিফারেন্ট কাইন্ড অফ স্টোরি, যেটা কিনা যে এরকম একটা ছবি দেখানো হচ্ছে সেই ইনিশিয়েটিভটা নাকি খুব ভালো, বাট নেগেটিভটা করে সেটা বোঝা যায়। সো ব্যাপারটা খুবই ওই একটা মরাল পুলিশিংয়ের মতন কী করে দেখানো হয় আপনি দেখুন। সো এরকম ধরনের ঘটনা যখন বারবার ঘটে তখন শহরের প্রতি ভরসা চলে যায়। গতকাল আমার এই যে ঘটনাটাতে যেটা হলো, মানে আগামী 7 দিন এই ছবিটা আরো অনেক মানুষ দেখতে পেত, সেটা আর দেখতে পেল না।
However, this was not Ashish's first rundown with the Censor Board. He's had it many years ago too.
I do not have a happy relationship with the Censor Board, and nothing went wrong apparently this time. It was that nothing really happened. But let me tell you what has happened to me. About 10 years ago, in 2007, I had completed my first feature film called Nirakar Chaya, and it had a scene in which a chicken, it was almost a documentary shot where the two protagonists of my film are sitting in the Boryat market and they are buying chicken, and they are seeing a chicken being cut, which is something that is seen every day by anybody who goes to any marketplace in Kolkata. And this is an important part of my film. It's a metaphorical part where the two characters are watching and the chicken is being cut. And so the Censor Board, the Calcutta Censor Board decided to, they called me and they said, Ashish, it's a great film, but we would want you to remove this particular sequence which has the chicken being cut. A very harmless sequence, a sequence which is almost a documentary sequence, something that everybody sees. They argued that that needs to be cut because that needs to be cut. I was there and I heard what they had to say, and then I decided that I will not cut the sequence, neither will I appeal the higher authorities and Censor Board, because I was appalled by this decision that something as pedestrian, as daily, as normative as a chicken being cut in a marketplace being deemed unpalatable by the Censor Board. So I refused to spend my energy in fighting the Censor Board, and so I have not released that film because I don't have a censor certificate. So that was my first experience with the Censor Board. The second time was my second feature film, a film called Kathopanishad, which is based on Kathopanishad, the 6th century BC Vedantic masterpiece text in which Nachiketa meets Yama and asks Yama how to get out of the cycle of of life and death. Apparently one of the most important Upanishads of the Vedanta tradition, and also one of the most earliest Upanishads to be translated in English. It's one of the most, it's almost after Gita, the second most important text in Hindu tradition to be translated. So it was a very simple film, except it was shot in 3 shots. The first shot was 16 minutes long, which had Nachiketa searching for Yama in a forest. The second shot was Nachiketa meets Yama in the forest, and a conversation about the most key important conversation of Vedantic conversation happens between him and Yama. And the final shot is a sequence of Nachiketa returning back. So the Upanishad, Katha Upanishad was sent to the Bombay board of the censor certificate, and they actually did give me a censor certificate, but the censor certificate was neither for feature film or short film or ad film, the few categories they had, but what a category which I was not familiar with called O category or other cinema. I still don't know what it means.
But why were you given an O certificate?
You know, I actually...
What was the reason given to you?
I spoke to them and they said, you know, we do not understand this film which only has 3 shots. We do not understand a film which does not have any actors or heroes and cast. So this is the O certificate. Again, I was very exasperated and I did not make any attempts to go to the appellate or the higher censor board, and I decided not to fight the case. I must admit, I do not have the energy like many filmmakers like Anand Patwardhan or Rakesh Sharma and others who had done a valiant act of going all the way to High Court to get their films to be shown in the public sphere.
প্রথম কথা এটা বলবো না যে একটা আর্টিকেলের জন্য শুধু এই স্ক্রিনিংটা বন্ধ করব। It's not about the article only. It's about the attitude of people in our city. মানে আমি জানি না এরকম ধরনের ঘটনা আমি আগেও শুনেছি, যাদবপুর ইউনিভার্সিটিতে ঘটেছে। এরকম ধরনের ঘটনা যোগেশ মাইমে ঘটেছে, মুক্তাঙ্গনে ঘটেছে, যে দুম করে সিনেমার মাঝখানে এসে স্ক্রিনিং বন্ধ করে দেওয়া হয়েছে। সো এটার মধ্যে একটা অদ্ভুত মানে ভয় কাজ করছে কোথাও একটা।
What the censor board does is to create a very powerful culture of fear, a very powerful culture of apprehension, a culture in which people are self-censoring, and that is the sadness. That people are, the artists, filmmakers are preempting that their work will be censored. And this is the sadness of the society that we live in. The problem of this, we are living in a sensorial society where people are censoring themselves, people are afraid to talk about their work. And I think this has created a culture of deep sadness for what I think is just not an Indian nation, but the idea of Indian civilization. It's deep sadness. And if the state, the people, and the individuals do not recognize that there is a sadness, it's a sadness of a civilization, it is a sadness of a community, that people do not have the ability to freely express themselves.
We live in a world of despair. আমাদের অ্যাকচুয়ালি কিছু করার নেই, এবং আমরা গ্যালারি খুঁজে বেড়াই ছবি দেখানোর জন্য। যখন একটা গ্যালারি পাই, তারপরে যখন এরকম ধরনের ঘটনা ঘটে, ইটস আ হার্ট ব্রেক। আর আমি জানি না, মানে ভবিষ্যতে তো আরও ছবি আমরা বানাচ্ছি, আর অন্য মানে ভবিষ্যতে এই শহরে ছবি দেখাতে পারবো কি।
How far will this go? How far will the government stretch itself to censor artists, to censor thoughts that does not fall in tandem with their own thoughts? What is the future for filmmakers like Ashish, who do not wish to toe the line that the government wants to set for them?
এরপরে যেটা করবো, মানে একটা উদ্ধত্ত হলেও সেটাই করতে হবে যে আমরা বাছাই করা মানুষদেরকে ডেকে এনে ছাদে ছবি দেখাবো, বলবো আপনারা দেখুন, আর যারা দেখতে চান না দেখবেন না। আর কিছু বলার নেই, মানে দিস ইজ দ্য ওনলি ওয়ে উই ক্যান শো ফিল্মস।
If you think this society can produce another stalwart right Tagore like Gandhi, like other Jivanananda, for instance, I think this is not possible. We are living in a world of extraordinary silence. And what I want to do, I am not going to fight this world. The very act of making film for me is a political act. And for me, that act, that politics of cinema will continue. This does not stop me from making cinema. I will continue to make cinema. But I will not take the initiative out of a political protest to make a point to show this film. There was an opportunity for this film to be shown in Calcutta. That opportunity is lost, and I shall not make another attempt to have the screening of this film. If there is somebody interested, it should come from outside. Or this film, let it disappear into the ephemeral space it came from.